Kay soon found his opinion of the authorities of the place confirmed when he went to see the superintendent. The superintendent, a kindly, stout, clean-shaven man, was laid up. He was suffering from a severe attack of gout and received Kay in bed. "So, here is our land surveyor," he said, and tried to sit up. Failed in the attempt and flung himself back again on the cushions, pointing apologetically to his leg. In the faint light of the room, where the tiny windows were still further darkened by curtains, a noiseless, almost shadowy woman pushed forward a chair for Kay and placed it beside the bed. "Take a seat, land surveyor. Take a seat," said the inspector, "and let me know your wishes." Kay read out Clam's letter and adjoined a few remarks to it. Again, he had this sense of extraordinary ease in intercourse with the authorities. They seemed literally to bear every burden one could lay, everything on their shoulders, and remain free and untouched oneself. As if he too felt in his way, the superintendent made a movement of discomfort on the bed. At length he said, "I know about the whole business, as, indeed, you've remarked. The reason why I've done nothing is firstly that I've been unwell, and secondly that you've been so long in coming. I thought finally that you'd given up the business. But now that you've been so kind as to look me up, really, I must tell you the plain, unvarnished truth of the matter. You've been taken on as land surveyor, as you say. But unfortunately, we have no need of a land surveyor. There wouldn't be the least use for one here. The frontiers of our little state are marked out and all officially recorded. So, what should we do with a land surveyor?" Though he had not given the matter a moment's thought before, Kay was convinced now at the bottom of his heart that he had expected some such response as this. Exactly for that reason he was able to reply immediately. "This is a great surprise for me. It throws all my calculations out. I can only hope that there's some misunderstanding." "No, unfortunately," said the superintendent. "It's as I've said." "But how is that possible?" cried Kay. "Surely I haven't made this endless journey just to be sent back again." "That's another question," replied the superintendent, "which isn't for me to decide. But how this misunderstanding became possible, I can certainly explain that. In such a large governmental office as the Count's, it may occasionally happen that one department ordains this, another that, neither knows of the other, and though the supreme control is absolutely efficient, it comes by its nature too late, and so every now and then a trifling miscalculation arises. Of course, that applies only to the pettiest little affairs, as for example, your case. In great matters, I've never known of any error yet, but even little affairs are often painful enough. Now, as for your case, I'll be open with you about its history and make no official mystery of it. I'm not enough of an official for that. I'm a farmer, and always will remain one. A long time ago, I had only been superintendent for a few months. There came an order. I can't remember from what department, in which, in the usual categorical way of the gentleman up there, it was made known that a land surveyor was to be called in, and the municipality were instructed to hold themselves ready for the plans and measurements necessary for his work. This order obviously couldn't have concerned you, for it was many years ago, and I shouldn't have remembered it if I weren't ill just now and with ample time in bed to think of the most absurd things. "Mizzy," he said suddenly, interrupting his narrative, to the woman who was still flitting about the room in incomprehensible activity. "Please have a look in the cabinet. Perhaps you'll find the order. You see, it belongs to my first months here," he explained to Kay. At that time, I still filed everything away. The woman opened the cabinet at once. Kay and the superintendent looked on. The cabinet was crammed full of papers. When it was opened, 2 large packages of papers rolled out, tied in round bundles, as one usually binds firewood. The woman sprang back in alarm. "It must be down below at the bottom," said the superintendent, directing operations from the bed. Gathering the papers in both arms, the woman obediently threw them all out of the cabinet so as to read those at the bottom. The papers now covered half the floor. "A great deal of work is got through here," said the superintendent, nodding his head. "And that's only a small fraction of it. I've put away the most important pile in the shed. But the great mass of it has simply gone astray. Who could keep it all together? There's piles and piles more in the shed." "Will you be able to find the order?" he said, turning to his wife. "You must look for a document with the word land surveyor underlined in blue pencil." "It's too dark," said the woman. "I'll fetch a candle." And she stamped through the papers to the door. "My wife is a great help to me," said the superintendent. "In these difficult official affairs, and yet we can never quite keep up with them. True, I have another assistant for the writing that has to be done, the teacher. But all the same, it's impossible to get things ship-shape. There's always a lot of business that has left to be lying. It has been put away in that chest there," and he pointed to another cabinet. "And just now when I'm laid up, it has gotten the upper hand," he said, and lay back with a weary yet proud air. "Couldn't I?" asked Kay, seeing that the woman had now returned with the candle and was kneeling before the chest looking for the paper. "Couldn't I help your wife look for it?" The superintendent smilingly shook his head. "As I've said before, I don't want to make any parade of official secrecy before you. But to let you look through these papers yourself, no, I can't go so far as that."